Institutes of the Christian Religion by John Calvin, Book 1, Chapter 13, Section 23, The Son is God, even as the Father. From this morass, another similar monster has come forth. For certain rascals to escape the invidiousness and shame of Servetus's impiety, indeed confess that there are three persons, but they added the provision that the Father, who is truly and properly the sole God, informing the Son and the Spirit, infused into them his own deity. Indeed, they do not refrain from this dreadful manner of speaking. The Father is distinguished from the Son and the Spirit by this mark, that he is the only essence giver. First they allege the specious argument that Christ is commonly called the Son of God, and infer from this that no other than the Father is, properly speaking, God. Yet they do not observe that even though the name God is also common to the Son, it is sometimes applied to the Father par excellence, because he is the fountainhead and beginning of deity, and this is done to denote the simple unity of essence. They object, if he is truly the Son of God, it is absurd to think of him as the son of a person. I reply that both are true, that is, he is the Son of God, because the Word was begotten by the Father before all ages. For we do not yet have occasion to mention the person of the mediator. And yet for the sake of clarification we must have regard to the person, so as not to take the name of God here without qualification, but as used of the Father. For if we consider no one but the Father to be God, we definitely cast the Son down from this rank. Therefore, whenever mention is made of deity, we ought by no means to omit any antithesis between Son and Father, as if the name of the true God applied to the latter alone. For of course the God who manifested himself to Isaiah was the true and only God, the God whom nevertheless John affirms to have been Christ. He who also through the mouth of Isaiah testified that he would be as a stone of stumbling for the Jews was the only God whom Paul declared to have been Christ. When through Isaiah he proclaims, I live, to me every knee shall bow. He is the sole God, yet Paul interprets the same to be Christ. To this are added the testimonies that the apostle puts forward. Thou, O God, hast founded heaven and earth. Likewise, let all the angels of God adore him. These things are appropriate only to the sole God. Nevertheless, he contends that they are proper titles of Christ. And there is no value in the subtle distinction that what is proper to God is transferred to Christ, because he is the splendor of his glory. For since the name of Yahweh is set forth everywhere, it follows that with respect to his deity, his being is from himself. For if he is Yahweh, it cannot be denied that he is that same God who elsewhere proclaims through Isaiah, I am, and apart from me there is no God. Jeremiah's utterance also bears considering. The gods who did not make heaven and earth shall perish from the earth which is under heaven. On the other hand, it will be necessary to omit that the Son of God is he whose deity is quite often proved in Isaiah from the creation of the universe. But how will the Creator, who gives being to all, not have being from himself, but borrow his essence from elsewhere? For whoever says that the Son has been given his essence from the Father denies that he has being from himself. But the Holy Spirit gives the lie to this, naming him Yahweh. Now, if we concede that all essence is in the Father alone, either it will become divisible or be taken away from the Son, and thus deprived of his essence, he will be God in name only. The essence of God, if these babblers are to be believed, belongs to the Father only, inasmuch as he alone is, and is the essence giver of the Son. Thus, the divinity of the Son will be something abstracted from God's essence, or a part derived from the whole. Now they are compelled from their own presupposition to concede that the Spirit is of the Father alone, because if it is a derivation from the primal essence, which is proper only to the Father, he will not rightly be considered the Spirit of the Son. Yet this is disproved by Paul's testimony, where he makes the Spirit common to Christ and the Father. Furthermore, if the person of the Father is expunged from the Trinity, in what respect would he differ from the Son and the Spirit except that only he is God himself? They confess Christ to be God, yet to differ from the Father. Conversely, there must be some mark of differentiation in order that the Father may not be the Son. Those who locate that mark in the essence clearly annihilate Christ's true deity, which without essence, and indeed the whole essence, cannot exist. Certainly the Father would not differ from the Son unless he had in himself something unique which was not shared with the Son. Now, what can they find to distinguish him? If the distinction is in the essence, let them answer whether or not he has shared it with the Son. Indeed, this could not be done, in part because it would be wicked to fashion a half-God. Besides, in this way, they would basically tear apart the essence of God. It remains that the essence is wholly and perfectly common to Father and Son. If this is true, then there is indeed, with respect to the essence, no distinction of one from the other. If they make rejoinder that the Father in bestowing essence nonetheless remains the sole God in whom the essence is, Christ then will be a figurative God, a God in appearance and name only, not in reality itself. For there is nothing more proper to God than to be. According to that saying, "He who is has sent me to you."